going on, workout people? Thanks for tuning in this week. If you want a sneak peek, this is what we're looking like. Can't tell if I just sweat a lot or these are actually good workouts. So you let me know what's going on here. But today we're just gonna be doing about half an hour, a little bit shorter than what we're typically been doing. So today we're gonna try and get a little bit more strength and stability involved. A lot of unilateral work for the legs, so a little bit heavier. Same thing for the pressing. We're gonna do some windmills as well and archer presses. So that's what we're working with. So I use a 65, a 45, and a 35 to the chops. Go heavier to reasonably light, something you can handle pretty well for the overhead movement and the chop. Then at the very end, we're gonna be doing something for the upper body and the core. I feel like Jello right now. So buckle up, grab your water. We're gonna have a warm up, dissect the movements at the back if you have any questions, but if not, let's just let this play out. Let's get it going. Good day, workout people. Thanks for stopping by. I have a little 5-minute warm up here for us. This one is going to be focused on mobilizing the spine. So we got a little bit of ATG split squats, just waking up the hips, waking up the ankles, moving to some down dog for that thoracic. The half kneeling, the hip open. So a lot of lateral bends, a lot of flexion, extension. Just getting the spine, everything just moving and grooving, getting it ready for the next half hour ahead of us. So let's set that intent, get that mind right, and let's get going.
warmed up, we're ready to rock. We're gonna get that first set going here. It'll be a combination of heavier offset kettlebell squats. So find something that you can manage for 10, 12 reps, moving directly into an overhead push press. So we are using some momentum. It will be heavier for that upper body, but we are doing a little bit less reps. And then give you a couple options for that third portion. It'll be a Spiderman, you'll see on the screen. You can go ahead and have that plyometric aspect. If you're looking for more mobility, you can do what I do for the first 2 sets, opening up that T-spine, just stepping through it. Whatever you pick right here is golden. We've got 3 sets ahead of us. Great job with that first set of exercises. We are moving on. This one's going to be focusing a lot on hip stability, core stability, and single arm strength. We have the archer press, and then the suitcase deadlift. Narrow up that stance a little bit, really focus on that glute, really focus on fighting that urge to lean into the kettlebell. If you do not have a slider for the archer press, let's go with wide arms and just favor into one side. We're just focusing on a lot of unilateral strength and core stability for this movement. about halfway there, folks. We're gonna do 2 sets here in a half kneeling position. So that first one is gonna be a windmill. This will be really testing the mobility of our hips, being able to get us down to the floor. It's gonna be testing the overhead endurance, and then our core stability as we are in that side plane. Then we're gonna hop into a hip open half kneeling chop. So we're chopping, getting the obliques fired up. We're gonna be assisting and resisting in the rotational force right here. So we're not just slinging that kettlebell all around, moving with intent with the raising and lowering, firing up the core, firing up the obliques, squeezing the glutes. So hit it on one side, then we're gonna move it on over, get the other side for these 2 sets.
I'm falling on my knees to pray. Loving you is spiritual. You're my little miracle. When I'm with you, I found my faith. Yeah, you do something to me. You do something. I'm falling on my knees to pray. Loving you is miracle. I'm a little miracle. When I'm with you, I found my faith. Yeah, you do something to me. You do something. You I found my faith. Yeah, you do something to me. You do something.
it, but it's there. Wait for it to subside, but my mind won't apply. Waiting for the clear. Is it bad? Sometimes I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light dim, but I can also see the bones decay. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm doing my best not to run away. Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it'll cave in and swallow me whole. Wondering how the world keeps on spinning, kinda scared of living when it unfolds. Hard to see the light when everything is silent, waiting for the clear. Thankful I'm alive, but terrified of dying. But hey, I'm still here. Is it bad? Sometimes I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful.
And I know we've kind of been taking it easy this workout, but not gonna let you off the hook so easy. We do have an 8-minute Tabata here to wrap it up. It'll be some pullovers and some Hindu push-ups. So we're just hitting the core, we're hitting the lats, a lot of triceps. I don't think I can get off the mat by the end of these 8 minutes. Find a weight moderately heavy. You don't want to kill yourself. You do want to get some reps in here. So aim for about 10 or 12 for the pullovers, and then it's just body weight for the Hindu push-ups. So something we can handle. A lot of core here, a lot of upper body. Let's finish strong.
Not to run away.
go halfway point. We got 4 minutes left over in the workout and you got your freedom back. Let's finish strong. Let's still be mindful of that kettlebell movement up over heads. We don't want any slip ups down that home stretch. So let's just finish up here. Let's empty the tank, leave it out on the floor today. We'll see you at the end here.
right, good job folks. Something light, quick little half-hour workout. A lot of focus on strength and stability for the lower half, and then a lot of endurance and just kind of pumping things up with the upper body. So Hindu presses, the unilateral presses, windmills, those are really good. We're getting the core involved and then just getting the heart rate up at the very end. My arms are jello. I don't know how you're feeling. I could not get off the mat. Thanks for sticking with me. We'll have another one coming for you next week.
Maybe goblet squats aren't doing it for you anymore. Back squats, they're boring. Maybe front squats. Let's do an offset kettlebell squat. Have the same load that you would typically do in your front rack, just move it over to one side. What that is gonna do, that's gonna ask that working side to the side that has the load, just give it a little bit more oomph. So if it's on your right side, that leg is gonna be working a lot more. Right side obliques, left side obliques to stabilize. Shoulder flexor up here, so the front of those delts, that trap is gonna be working.
to keep that thing upright. And then on the flip side of that coin, everything is going to be working to stabilize. So we don't want everything going towards the load. It's on the left side. It's going to be stabilizing. It's going to be pulling up. The lats are going to be working to stabilize on the spine. That's right here because of the coiling. That's going to be pulling down as well. So it's great just to offset everything and then just asking a lot from that core. So no rotational forces, shear forces on that side. Then we're just going to go about a squat. So we're having the hips, having the chest go down at the same time. We're not doing like a funky variation of the butt and the chest raising all over the place. Go down to that depth. If there's any tingling, popping, clicking, numbness, any of the bad things, don't go that far down. If you're mobile enough, if you're strong enough, by all means, bigger range of motion. That's going to elicit better muscle growth, better strength gains, the stuff that we're looking for here. Then as we come up, really driving hard, keeping those knees out, keeping the chest up proud, squeezing the glutes. What we're thinking, just core, hips, traps, grip strength. Just a fun, different variation. You can flip the side as well. So kettlebell offset squat. Overhead strength, that's what we're looking at right here. Kettlebell push press. So if you are familiar with an overhead press, it's just pressing overhead, tailbone tucked down, squeezing the core, straight line from the heels all the way up to the head. That is a regular overhead press, so strict press. Push press is going to be catered towards typically heavier weights. It's going to have more of an explosive aspect, a little bit more power to it, and we are using momentum. So as opposed to just standing still and just driving up overhead, we are going to want a little bit of a bounce. So dipping down, a strength coach once said 3 to 5% of your total height. So I don't expect you guys to be doing math in your head and figuring out how much depth you should have in that bounce, but just a couple of inches, just a little bit, still having that upright posture. Just squat down a little bit, and then as we stand up, driving to the heels, using that momentum to drive it up overhead. Give it about a 1 Mississippi up on top to really own that end position, really focus on that shoulder stabilization, and then on the way down you can catch it. If you do want to break up the reps, you can catch it and then announce the bounce. Once again, if you are comfortable with this movement, on that way down, you can almost start doing that bounce. When you catch it, you're already in that bottom position. You can just keep on going. So momentum and heavier and power are kind of the words that attach themselves to this movement. Looking for new cardio options? This is a good one. It's called a Spiderman or something else. I heard Spiderman somewhere, so we're gonna go with that. We can do it on the ground. I'm just doing it up on the kettlebell just to shorten the footprint, so just asking the core to stabilize just a little bit more. Picture up in a high plank, up on that kettlebell, and then we're gonna bring our heels alternate in on each side. So one of the modifications, let's say we're getting into fitness and we still wanna do this movement, by all means we can do that. We can do a step and a step. We can do a step and then a torso rotation. Let's say our T-spine is just lacking a little bit of mobility. We're trying to unlock that. You can go ahead, step, and then the same arm on that side. You can do a rotation. If you are, or you're looking to push it, or you're just looking to graduate from those previous two movements, you can do a hop. So almost like a plyometric aspect to things. As soon as that heel touches, put the weight back into your hands, and do a little hop there. So it's definitely gonna increase that metabolic output, get that heart rate up. You can do this for time. So if you're like in a TABATA movement, if you're looking to pair something in between your squat patterns, you can totally do that. So it's still gonna be your core stabilizer, is gonna have like a little bit of chest involved because you're squeezing that kettlebell. Good movement, kind of like a mountain climber, but a little variation going out to the sides, just a bit more. Kettlebell, Spiderman. We're looking to train glutes, we're looking to train core grip strength, single leg stability. Give this one a whirl. It'll be a suitcase deadlift, so regular deadlift pattern, just moving the load over to one side. So it's gonna ask your trunk and everything to stabilize as we're going about this movement. I would even go a little bit more narrow, being that we are going off to the side. So hip shooting back, soft bend in the knees, bracing the core, all that fun stuff. Check those boxes. And then as we stand up, chest is raising up, hips are shooting forward, big squeeze at the top. And then the SL stance, that is ipsilateral single leg stance. So ipsilateral meaning same side, say it's on the right side. Right leg is gonna stay on the ground and left leg is gonna come up. Why are we doing that? Just a little bit more as far as hip stabilization. So if the right side for the suitcase deadlift, that's gonna be taxing that right leg just a little bit more. Now moving into that single leg stance, now we're really asking those abductors, adductors, core and everything just to balance, really stabilize up on top. So you're just hammering it home as far as strength and stability on this movement. And you are gonna get a little bit more of core. So you're getting the obliques with the suitcase, and then when you go in that single leg stance, obliques and a little bit of rectus abdominis going on with the knee raise. The fun one, definitely test any imbalances from side to side. What we're looking for here, especially with the single leg stance, as soon as we go into that, if we are buckling like crazy on one side, or if that butt is shooting out to the side, that's just gonna be a red flag immediately that something's weak, either your abductors or adductors. It'll just be like a little check engine light going on if you do feel your hips wavering a little bit. So
Suitcase deadlift, single leg stance. Push-up variation, this one's gonna be an archer press. You can do these on suspension trainers. I use this one in a slider just for today. Traditional push-up, boom, we got that down pat. We're not letting our back arch, squeezing the glutes, heels to the head, straight line. Let's put our slider on our right hand. So we can go out on a 90-degree angle, straight out to the side, come up on a 45. That's excellent. That'll have shoulder stability in the deltoids and the rhomboids and everything as we're pressing into it. Go straight up overhead. So you just find an angle that you're comfortable with. Save the going out to the side for last. If your pecs are tight, you don't really have the shoulder mobility for so, you're definitely putting yourself in a compromised position as you go out there. We're going out on a 45, so a slider's on our right hand. A lot of pressing strength on that left hand side. You ain't getting too much juice from the slider side, but what you are getting is all the stabilization muscles within that shoulder girdle as we're going out. So you're maintaining that good pressure the entire time, and then on the way in, it's almost like a fly. So you're getting a little bit of pressing strength, and then you're getting some adduction strength. So that is what the chest does. It's flexion and adduction. Definitely a lot of core as well. So as the arm extends, you feel a little bit of rotational forces on your core. So as always, drive the feet in the ground, squeeze the glutes, squeeze everything. So if you do feel a little bit of tension as you're going out, maybe you're not down all the way and back home. We don't want any funk going on because you are weakest in that end point. So find a distance that works better for you. If we do not have a slider, we can have, a wide stance. We can offset the hands, favor one side over the other, but this will be an archer press. So really good for the core, really good for pressing strength. Looking to train our core, get some overhead stability, mobilize the hips, unlock the mid-back, give this one a whirl. It's a half kneeling windmill. So half kneeling, one knee is down, so full kneeling, both knees. Let's do it on our right side. We're gonna press it up. I always go for a lot of bit lighter than what you can typically overhead press, because it is hanging out up there. You want that endurance and everything. You don't, especially starting off, you don't want to get away from you. So you want something that you can handle really well. So if we have our, let's say, right knee down, left knee up, left arm's gonna have it. So same leg, same arm is gonna be up. As we rotate, let's eyeball that kettlebell. Focus on the kettlebell, make sure it's not going anywhere. So make sure it's as vertical as we can, packing that shoulder down, pressing up high in the sky. So nice strong foundation as we go. As we're gonna rotate, eyes on the kettlebell, we're going down, feel out the hand, let it come down into your forearm, get a nice big stretch. You'll feel it on that up leg, on the glutes and adductors and everything. So big old stretch. That might sound like Rice Krispie treats when you pour the milk in, so you got the little snap crackle, back unlocking right there. So this is excellent if you're trying to train the rhomboid, shoulder stability, obliques, the anti-rotation of the core. It's a fun one, definitely taxing. Don't look like much, but you're gonna be feeling it. So the whole time, just try and maintain that good stability in the arm. As soon as it starts getting taxed, that's the weakest link right there. So as soon as that starts going, that's when you're gonna pull the plug. You don't want anything compromised. You don't want the arm starting to bend. You can't hold it, and now it's falling down. You're bopping yourself in the head with 30 pounds. Trying to avoid all that, but excellent if you're trying to mobilize the hips, mobilize the back, build some stability up overhead. Half kneel and windmill. Looking to build some rotational power in your hips, looking to define those obliques, looking to get a little bit of shoulder activation. Giving this one a whirl, it's gonna be a half kneeling hip open chop. Half kneeling, it's gonna be one knee down. So traditionally, if we're half kneeling, everything's facing the same way, shoulders, hips, everything nice in alignment. The hip open one, that bottom leg, let's make it perpendicular. So when we're facing the down leg, hips are going that way, facing ahead, hips going the other way. Kind of follow that one. So we're gonna grab that kettlebell up by the horns. We're gonna dig that front heel into the ground, dig those back toes into the ground. Nice stable base, so everything's nice and sucked in between your hips. Nice foundation. Then as we rotate, squeeze that glute. Let's rotate upwards so the obliques are lighting on fire. Practice abdominis. We're not trying to fall forward from that load, so everything's nice and tight. Big rotation, and then let's let gravity do the work on the way down. Let it come back in. So now we're resisting rotation in that end portion. So we're not letting the kettlebell swing us way back, get all twisted up, catching it at that end point, and now we are assisting rotation. So you're getting two forces acted upon it, resisting, assisting. So really good. You're hitting both portions of those obliques, working that glute, working proprioception as your hips are kind of opened up. Doesn't look like much, but you're going to be feeling it. Give it about 12 to 15 reps with a lighter weight. You don't want to be muscling it up. Just really focus on that contraction, really focus on form, posture, squeezing everything, making sure it lights up. The great one if you are trying to train that core, a little bit more mobility, half kneeling, hip open chop. Training core, training back, training some chest, training the lats. All this is going to be in this movement right here. So it's going to be a kettlebell pullover and a hollow body extension. It's very devious. You'll be feeling it right away. So if we are in an upright supine chair position, so we got our heels up, we got our hands up over our chest, grabbing that kettlebell up by the horns, and all we're doing is fighting extension forces on our core. So as the legs drop, kettlebell goes back up overhead. Naturally, our back is going to want to curve to compromise for the forces pulling upon it, right? The hip flexors are going to have to turn on, our core is going to have to turn on. We're trying to press that low back, kept it flat against the the floor the entire time. Our lats are getting stretched. Our chest is gonna be pressing against that kettlebell. So everything eccentric, we're getting pulled apart like Velcro, and our job is to bring it back together. So when the horns of the kettlebell touch, when your heels touch, come together at once. So if we're getting to maybe halfway, belly button's flaring up and our ribs are coming up off the mat, that's when you pull the plug. That's enough for one day, and you bring it back in, and that's your end position until we can maintain that nice neutral spine. But if we can go down all the way, even better. We're getting big lat activation, big hip flexor, rectus abdominis, chest. Like I said, you can do this with a much lighter weight than what we would typically do for pullovers, just because we are in a compromised position, don't really have that strong of a foundation if we were to have our feet on the ground or on a bench or something like that. So definitely go a little bit lighter, go for higher reps. You don't want to get back there, us be lacking the shoulder mobility and T-spine and everything. And now we can't pull it back up, and our shoulders are in a funky position. They're a little bit compromised and a load, so that's not a good time right there. So go a little bit lighter, really train that core, really being intentional with this movement. So kettlebell, hollow body, pullover. Push-up variation, this one's gonna be an archer press. You can do these on suspension trainers. I use this one in a slider just for today. If you don't have a slider, we can play around that, but if you do have them, this is what we're going for. Traditional push-up, boom, we got that down pat. We're not letting our back arch, squeezing the glutes, heels to the head, straight line. The format for what we're looking for, put our slider on our right hand. So we can go out on a 90-degree angle, straight out to the side, almost do a fly. We can come up on a 45. That's excellent. That'll have shoulder stability in the deltoids and the rhomboids and everything as we're pressing into it. We can go straight up overhead. So you just find an angle that you're comfortable with. Save the going out to the side for last. It is definitely, if your pecs are tight, you don't really have the shoulder mobility for so, you're definitely putting yourself in a compromised position as you go out there. Right here, we're going out on a 45. So slider's on our right hand. A lot of pressing strength on that left-hand side. You ain't getting too much juice from the slider side. But what you are getting is all the stabilization muscles within that shoulder girdle as we're going out. So you're maintaining that good pressure the entire time. And then on the way in, it's almost like a fly. So you're getting a little bit of pressing strength, and then you're getting some adduction strength in your arms. It's a fun one, definitely a lot of core as well. So as that arm extends, you're gonna wanna feel a little bit of rotational forces on your core. So as always, drive the feet in the ground, squeeze the glutes, squeeze everything. Make sure we're nice in alignment, and take it nice and slow. So if you do feel a little bit of tension as you're going out, maybe you're not down all the way, bring it back home. We don't want any funk going on, because you are weakest in that end point, strongest in this point right here. Definitely, there's a little bit of play involved, so find a distance that works better for you. If we do not have a slider, we can have, a wide stance. We can offset the hands, favor one side over the other, but this will be an archer press. So really good for the core, really good for pressing strength.